Hi, and welcome to another one of my little chats. And with me today is a very interesting lady from the billiards industry, Katherine Marie Blackbird-Arcan Miller. Now, that is one very long name, and I want to hear the story behind it. Hi, Katherine.
Hello, Mark. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me. And I hear that you've got a great story to tell. So tell me more about Native Billiards. What is it all about? Come on.
So the Native Billiards Foundation is a new platform company. So I just started working for the company September 11th. I took the position September 11th. The former CEO that had it decided to pursue, he's also a native music producer. So he decided to go a different route and he wants to stay within his music industry. And even though billiards was kind of his second passion, he is the original founder of what was the Native American Pool Association. And so when I was offered the position, I was actually a sponsored player. I'm a first year pro sponsored player with the
Wow.
NAPA. So it was amazing that the turn of events of how it happened. And then some of the tribal chief elders who are part of the company were looking, he decided wanted to leave. So they were looking to replace him. And they reached out to me. And I was kind of like, okay. I'm like, I like what you guys are offering. It sounded great what I could do. And it really actually is a great thing. That being a sponsored player and then now going into this, going into an amazing role with a startup company is, and I get to rebrand. I get to, we rebranded it. We're doing a lot with it, and it's very exciting because as a first year player, I understand the woes and the lows and the highs and the craziness and the work it takes and all of that I didn't understand until, going pro first and it being my first year. Now I understand so much more about what it takes, what it truly takes to be a great player. So it's helped me a lot to understand where the foundation needed to go. So in my talks with them, uh I loved what we kind of threw a lot of different how do you call them, creative
Ideas?
yeah, like, little like creative moments, right, where we're all like on, and it was like multiple conference calls with multiple tribal chiefs and learning about what worked and what didn't work. And it was like, as I was listening to it all and going through it all, it just, my own stuff became a reality of, and I said, one of the hardest things about billiards is getting into it. I said, truly getting into it and truly being great at it. I said, and it takes such dedication. It takes such, all of the things that truly make you great, the humility part of it. So I really, through all the brainstorming, we came up with the rebranding was actually amazing that we went towards being a platform company with many different phases. So that's what I really love about it. It was a base for me as a sponsored player to understand where they would fit in within the billiards world. What ultimately their idea is. And I just kind of took it back to grassroots, and made it more so of giving the idea of it being more of a platform company. So,
And
and
it
I loved it.
and it doesn't get any more grassroots than Native American, right? So if I
Right.
if I was to go to your website right now, nativebilliards.com, I believe it is,
Nativebilliardsfoundation.com. Yep.
nationalbilliardsfoundation.com. We'll put that up when we come to do the edit, and we'll put some
Oh,
nice little
sorry.
ticker tape going across the bottom so people know
I
exactly where to
appreciate
find
that.
you.
Thank you.
um, so if I go and click on that now, what will I see? What can I expect? What
You
can I
can see a
join? What can
great,
I buy?
we have, it's a great informational site right now. So the website is set up because of the rebranding. Obviously, we're really trying to learn and figure out the avenues that we wanted to go in. And we're doing it in different phases. We are still in the rebranding process. So we still have a lot of corporate stuff, as always, we moved a company from California to Georgia. So there's a lot that you do when you go from one state to another, especially with Georgia being a non-tribal state. So,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
interesting, right? It's a
Yeah.
non-tribal state, but my residency is here and in Minnesota. So, but I grew up in Minnesota. And so my tribal affiliations are in Minnesota, but I'm going to be spending my time between Minnesota and Georgia. So I'm going to have dual residency.
So look, tell me a little bit, because I'm just an ignorant Englishman, right? I don't know much that goes on over the other side of the pond. I know a lot about pool, I guess, but
Oh, yes, you do.
what
That you
what
do.
what about thank you. What about the history of the Native American and how that's coming together with it's funny you mentioned actually music and billiards, because I'm just about to embark on another new interest of mine, which is radio. I've been working in radio over the last 20 years. I've worked in and out of radio, and I've got to be honest, that and pool are my first real loves. I'd much rather be doing a radio show than sitting in front of a camera, so to speak. Um,
Right.
so I want to get people like you onto my radio show, and you get to choose some of your favorite music that you like, and what influenced you growing up, and what you like to listen to in the pool room. And I want to visit pool rooms as well, interview on the radio. You know, room owners can come on, and we can listen to some music that they play in the room, and that kind of thing. So it's going to be a pool-based radio show. But to have somebody like you on now is really interesting for me, because it's a subject that I know absolutely zero about, apart from what I saw in movies when I was growing up, kind of thing. So tell us a bit about your background and your ancestry, because this is really interesting to me.
It's very fascinating. It's super fascinating. So my background is I am actually half Vietnamese. My
Oh,
mother
wow.
is Vietnamese, and my father is Sioux, Ojibwe, and French. So, yep, my dad and my mom met. Obviously, my dad, he was a 31-year career military. So he spent 10 years in Vietnam. My two sisters were born over there. I was born here stateside. I'm the youngest of the three, and it's interesting because I'm the albino Asian. I'm also an
I
albino
was gonna
native.
say, where's the blonde hair where's the blonde hair come
It's
from?
it comes from actually my dad's side. It actually comes from
Okay.
my dad's side. My dad was blonde hair, blue eyed.
Do you
It is
know
a
Ozzy Reynolds from CSI, Q Sports International, runs BCA leagues?
no.
Okay, I was just the little link there is that he was married to a Vietnamese, and he has two children with a Vietnamese lady, and I just find it a fascinating, lovely mix. You know, the children are
Uh-huh.
beautiful.
It's amazing because I have two children. My oldest is a girl and she's 25. She looks full Vietnamese. She was the first grandchild. And so out of the 8 grandkids that there are, only 2 of them are Asian. The rest of them are blonde hair, blue eyed.
Wow. Can I have a
My
guess?
sisters look full Asian and their kids are blonde hair, blue eyed.
Can I have a guess at their names? Is it Carolina and Madeline?
No,
Oh,
no,
what's
that is actually I know. I'm actually at my friend's house because they have the best wireless connection. So they have fiber. So it's a
ah,
great connection. Mine is not so good where I live. So that's actually their grandkids' wall. It's pretty cool, actually. They have these tiles
yeah.
of all the grandkids and the great grandkids. They have a lot more. um, but it's amazing where you wouldn't necessarily think in a two cultures, especially from a native culture and an Asian culture, where it's so dominantly dark. Just the nature of it is dominantly dark. But of course, there are recessive genes. And I know from, as we are doing my background history with the Sioux Nation and the Ojibwe Nation, running the trace of my genealogy, because some of it was done, but there's a long-standing, history of a recessive gene in our family. And my two sisters look full Vietnamese, and I am literally the recessive gene. My son is also blonde hair, blue eyed. My daughter looks full Vietnamese, and my son is blonde hair, blue eyed.
See,
So,
I'm guessing that's where, I mean, that pool in Vietnam is absolutely massive. As you know, I'm in
right.
Thailand. I'm in Thailand now,
It's
and
amazing.
it's literally just a little plane ride away, Vietnam, from where I am now. And I've been there 3 times to Ho Chi Minh City, and it's just it's kind of like the Philippines as well. You know, they grow up
Mhm.
with it in their blood, and there's pool rooms springing up all over the place now in Vietnam. I'm sure you
Yep.
saw the Matchroom Hanoi
Oh,
event, right?
oh, yes. And seeing Vietnam, and what I would have never, knowing just the stories, I haven't had the experience of going to Vietnam. Uh, you know, uh, it's just different, right? And I know that our family is from Tay Ninh, so which is just a little bit towards the Cambodia side, I believe. Tay Ninh, so it's a little bit below on the southern part of Vietnam. And I know that's where my sisters were born, and that's where primarily where my dad was, between there and Da Nang. And like I
Okay.
said, my dad was in country for 10 years. Uh, I don't think he would have ever. My dad passed away in 2016, and I don't think he, if he would see what Hanoi looks like now, and the massive pool rooms and what it is there and what it means, he would be like, no wonder why both my daughters play. That makes sense now. That makes sense. And to him, he's probably up there going, okay, that makes a lot of sense now that it's
So
in the age.
is your sister in the States now as well then?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. They both have been here since they arrived in 73. So, and I was born in
And
74. Yep.
and they play also?
My oldest sister used to play, so she doesn't anymore. So she still got a pool table at home though.
Ah.
Yeah, she's still got one at home.
Have
In
you got a
fact,
table? You got a table at home?
I do not have a table. I don't have a space for a table yet. Not yet. So, but eventually. So I use my local pool hall. I'm there 7 days a week.
Really?
I don't miss a practice.
Why could I never find a woman like you to marry? I would have just been in heaven. A woman that loves playing pool 7 nights a week. See, we'd have stayed together forever. So what's your local pool room called?
So I play at Q's Billiards in Marietta, Georgia. Terry Stewart owns that. Terry Stewart, Josh Aria, and Heath. So you would know Terry Stewart is quite the great legend in his own right in the state of Georgia. He's an amazing pool player. We just have different sides. I'm more to the tournament side, and he's a gambling side.
Okay.
He's got the gambling side. I am towards the tournament, want to be like beat Jason Shaw 770 ball run. That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
You know, he
714. It's not quite 770. He's not that
Okay,
good.
714. I'm sorry, Jason Shaw. When you see this, I'm giving you credit, man. 770. But I realize that in the game, I love the precision part of the game. So I love playing out of cues. He's been wonderful. He's a great sponsor. As far as I get to play any 24/7 anytime that they're open. So really, I get all the free time I want. So it's amazing. I love that. We have a great relationship. So
So let's talk a little bit about the actual game of pool then, and what games you like. I mean, what tables do they have? Oh, by the way, is Monica Webb from that area? I believe she is, isn't
she's
she?
in Villa Rica. So she owns Sticks Bar and Grill in Villa Rica. And so I play over there too. They have a lot of like tournament, like small in-house tournaments that Alan Chastain runs for her, and I love it over there too. You know, it's non-smoking. She's got beautiful diamond tables. I play on we have some diamonds, we have a couple diamonds. Terry has a table one. We have table one is a Brunswick Gold Crown triple shim.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
table two is a diamond pro-am 9-foot triple shim. So
Ne- next time you see Monica, give her a big hug from me. I've met
oh,
Monica, and
I will. I know
I,
she's just getting off of ICB. I know. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure I know. I will. I absolutely will. She is a super great person. I have been very blessed to be in a state where there's a lot of really good. Rodney Morris is here too. So
Oh,
Rodney lives in Rome. So we
well,
got Rodney as well.
Rodney was here in Thailand at my local pool hall called Double Kiss. He came there, I think it was November last year. He came with Earl Strickland.
I am much closer to Rodney than I am Monica. So I love Rodney. He is, I mean, the embodiment of what he is as far as being a legend in pool. You know, very similar to you, Mark. You've been in the pool world for a long time.
Do you know how long I've had, oh, by the way, how well did Rodney Morris play at Turning Stone?
Oh, amazing. I'm like, I can't wait for him to get back because I think he's going from Turning Stone right to the Derby so he's like, I know he has a whole bunch that he's hitting. So I won't see him until, until he comes back this way. Or I'm gonna try to get up to the Derby for a day or two. Just to go up to the Derby to meet with some people about some things that we have in the works. So I love my time with Rodney. He is the most humble, amazing guy about the game. His knowledge is amazing. I am a very old school, old lover of the game. I love snooker, 14-1, 3 cushion, 5 cushion. That's me.
Who's your favorite snooker player?
Ronnie Sullivan. Who
Mm. Of
else would
course.
it be?
Stupid question, right? What a stupid question. The
Yeah. Now
Rocket, the Rocket, right? Rodney and Ronnie.
well, no, my favorite, my all-time favorite pool player is Gene Belucas. You gotta,
Ah,
Gene Belucas. Just the fact of she could take on any guy on a table, and that, like, her determination, her fight, her grit, like that to me is the embodiment of a true champion. She just loves the game, just wants to play, just loves it.
hands up, right? I've never
Hmm.
seen Jean play. I've never seen her
I
hit a
haven't
ball.
either.
No, oh, no, I mean, but is she
I
on
mean, on
YouTube?
video, like on
Yeah.
YouTube's and video, yeah, but not in person. I've never met her in person either. And I hear that her family pool hall is closing. I did see that it was that they were closing. So and I was very surprised. But I guess I wonder if that means she's retiring. Officially
Or
retiring.
or she's putting all effort and time into making a comeback. Who knows? How great would that
Who
be?
that would be a heck of a comeback, wouldn't it? You start seeing Gene Belucas. That would be something else. That would be amazing.
Well, look at Alison Fisher. She's just won another title at 54. She is now, I believe. I mean, you know, this is one of
You are
those
never too
games.
old.
Exactly. It's one of them games where if you keep yourself mentally and physically healthy, as
Right.
much as you can, as the old bones start to creak a little bit, it's not running, it's not football or ice hockey. It's a game that you can play till a later stage in life, isn't it?
Hmm. And I think, pool is so universal because it helps all the way from, your social leagues, which are like your APA, your leagues. For some people, especially older, I have several friends that play league that's their night out. They pay to play. That's some of them are widows even. For them, they enjoy the game, and as widows, they go just for the social aspect of it, to where they can still be a little competitive and they have the social aspect. So pool is so universal. You have a social aspect. You want to go a little further, you can take it a little further. Start playing in smaller tournaments. You want to go further than that, you can take it further than that. I think it's amazing because it really is universal. It appeals to so many people, and there isn't an age restriction to it. Granted, as we get a little older, it gets a little tougher, no doubt.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and as I'm learning, right, staying healthier and um keeping your health really does make a difference when you're playing pool. This year I've lost 89 pounds and it's been amazing. And I
What?
started doing that, yeah, with all of I have just done an amazing job of I've lost 89 pounds this year and over the last year. So it's been something else.
I cannot imagine you 89 pounds heavy. I mean, what are we doing talking about a woman's weight?
I was
That's a
just more
definite no-no.
rounder, just
Do you
more
know,
rounder.
I'll let you into a little secret. I haven't really made it public because I don't think it's something that I really like to talk about. But I recently suffered a stroke 3 months ago. And luckily, I was at home in between tournaments at the time, staying with my mum, and I kind of
Thank
knew what it
goodness,
was.
right?
Yeah, and I got to hospital very quickly, and I was in there for a few days, and basically it was a wake up call to say, look, the way you're living your life isn't conducive to a long life, so you need to do something very, very quickly. And I'm the kind of person that I'm very addictive personality. If I'm into something, then I'm into
You
it.
have to be to play pool.
Yeah,
You
a
have to
million
be.
percent right. I'm into it. I throw my whole self into it. And maybe I was throwing myself into some of the wrong things, but now I'm swimming every other day. I've got some weights over there that I work out with every day now. I've got my blood pressure down to from
Good
200
for
down
you.
down to 125, in the space of 2.5 months, I guess. So, and I'm looking forward to spending a lot more years on this planet and being around Paul, because I believe we're at the point now where Paul is really in the best place, I would say, it's ever been. Some might argue, well, it's not on ESPN yet, it's not on free TV yet, but it's coming. I think it's pretty close.
It's
And
coming. I think it's coming. I think that, there is a lot of people who want to do amazing things, myself included, that want to do amazing things for the sport we love, for the game
what's
that
your
we love.
goal? What's your goal for Native Billiards Foundation?
So
What's the goal?
my goal is several things of really being a platform company to really do grassroots, right? So there's a lot of different phases. One is bringing awareness right now. So one of the phases of bringing awareness is getting into and us promoting and wanting to be a part of something that is going to be a future, right? So that's why the juniors to me means a lot, is because they are the future of our sport. And I understand from being a first year and again, being a sponsored player, it is extremely hard. There's a lot of tournaments I can't go to because I being seasoned, I didn't know what any of that meant when I got into it. I had no clue what it was. And now getting into it, even in my first year, it's like it I understand it. Like I get how difficult it is. Just it's extremely difficult to become seasoned. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of work. It's all of those things. And I look at, the future of the juniors. They have to have there's got to be a way to help them. And when I took this position, I knew that the juniors, to me, through meeting a lot of the other juniors on the tour and watching how hard they practice, watching their videos of their drills and all of that, and then me learning to do that myself, that takes a tremendous amount. And they're going to school, the tremendous amount of dedication, the tremendous amount of work that it takes. And as an adult, I find it hard. I mean, I turn 50 tomorrow, or actually at midnight, I turn 50. So January 16th is my birthday. I turn 50 at midnight. So, being 50, I get it. You're right, the creaks and cracks. But, I wish I would have had those opportunities when I started playing at the age of 9. I wish I would have had those opportunities. So my goal is in that phase is to hopefully take on some of those and be a part of hopefully making some positive changes and some positive things for that to go forward and to create opportunities. That's all it is to create the opportunities, and hopefully, myself and I know Frank Emilietti out of PA Pro Am Pool, he feels the same way. Giving opportunity, give the opportunity, out there, because there just isn't a lot of it. The kids don't have a lot of opportunity.
Oh, that is so close to my heart. I mean, just before COVID struck, I was putting together a plan. It was going to be a tour across the 50 states. This is what first really got me interested in going to the States, to be honest. And it was going to be called All Across America, Giving Everyone a Shot. And the plan was, I kind of had sponsors ready to go with it. I was not guaranteed in stone, but I was having some very good conversations with different sponsors. And I was going to actually spend 2 years, however long it took, driving from state to state with a pool table in a trailer behind me. And I would go to ghettos and places that probably
Now that's grassroots.
never even seen a table, right? And just rock up there and open up the trailer and just give the kids around playing football or whatever they're playing, give them a cue and let them come and play a shot. And I would, it's a thought that often occurs to me, how many world champions are lurking that, might never, ever get to pick up a cue, a bit like Tiger Woods as a kid with a golf club. And, how many kids never, ever will get to pick up a cue? And I just find that so,
and it's hard too,
so
because
sad.
it's a lot for the parents, right? It's a lot of responsibility on the parents. Like I'm very close to Skylar Hess, Ice Princess, and I know, for her it's a struggle between her parents both work full-time jobs. It's trying to get her there on the weekends and this and that, while they're young, and it is extremely difficult. So they're trying to balance their jobs and do that. So I get it. And it got really close to my heart as well. So it got extremely close to my heart of giving that opportunity. And when I got this position, and I'm like, I know exactly what I want to do. And so when I pitched the idea to my bosses, and I said, listen, I'm like, by going grassroots, I said, COVID has affected a lot of pool halls. So I said, when we do qualifiers, I want to pick the mom and pop pool halls, the ones that are the mom and pops, the ones that are out there that some of these people they still work rather regular jobs and they own a pool hall trying to make it. Those are the people that I want to bring a big event to. That's where I want to put the money back into their pockets, into, that's truly what grassroots is giving back to the community. So those mom and pop owned pool halls, those are the ones that I want to do the qualifiers with. Those are the ones that I want to pick, that I want to search out for, that I want to look for. Like you said, going across America, look for those places where they're doing amazing things, but they're just small, and help them get that roadmap to, hopefully they'll help us grow the industry, even by that small amount, that hopefully they will help us grow that industry in some way. And that's really what we need.
I mean, who knows, your foundation may become a countrywide federation that can really, really get this
Oh, that's
sport
my goal.
out. Right. Well, we're going to talk more about your goals and more about your oh, by the way, do you like the table in my room here? It's
I
not
love
bad,
the
is it?
table.
If only it wasn't green screen.
If only it was a Rason. No, just kidding.
I do like Rason, actually. You say
Oh,
Rasona, you say Rason, we say Rasson, but you say it how you want to say it.
I think in the South, we're going to say it's a Rason.
Rason. Well, is that the way you're
Rason.
going to say it? That's the way it is. Okay,
Right?
listen. We're going to go for a quick commercial break. We're going to come back with part 2, and I want to hear lots more about this journey you're on, because it's absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much, Katherine, and I'll see you very, very soon, all right, in part 2.
Thank you.
Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of this fascinating chat with Katherine Marie Blackbird-Arcan Miller. God, what a name that is, I'll tell you what. Do you sign many autographs?
No. No, it's so long it won't even fit on a business card. But
Sign my cue, please, Katherine.
yeah,
Hell, I can't
get my
sign
tour name then.
I can't sign
signing
a junk queue. That's not long enough.
Yeah.
Excuse my accent. Terrible. So yeah, what's your nickname?
So my tour name is the Huntress.
Wow, I don't think I've ever heard that before. That's a really cool name, actually.
One of the things that I look for that really I think the name fits me is that I hunt to become hunted.
Ooh.
Yep,
Ooh.
I'm gonna hunt the best to eventually, I hope one day, to become the hunted.
The Huntress is hotting things up here in part 2 early on. So tell us a little bit more about your game. What's your favourite game to start with?
So my favorite game is 10 ball.
Wow.
Yep. My favorite game is 10 ball. It's 10 ball, 14-1, snooker, 3 cushion, and 5 cushion. I've only ever made 2 points in my whole entire lifetime in 5 cushion. And I think that's pretty amazing.
5 cushion? I've never heard of 5. I mean, I guess it's just hit 5 cushions instead of 3,
hit 5
right?
cushions. Yeah. I don't even know if it's real, but I know I've done it twice.
That's pretty good. My highest run at 3 cushion, I think, was 7. But I made it. I did it once, but that's crazy difficult, that game, right?
It is. It's really being able to see the angles on the table. Just being able to see it. First of all, you have to see it. You have to see all of those cushions, to even do it. And I found very young. I started playing when I was 9. And that's because my older sister is a 27-time VNEA champion. So yes, and she quit pool.
Oh my!
You know what? She's got an amazing career. She's got a doctorate in engineering. She's career oriented, and she knew it wasn't going to pay the bills at the time when she was it not for what kind of life she wanted. And that's kind of, I think, how we all kind of at some point do, and then eventually we come back. I waited until 40 years later to decide to take my challenge.
Have you ever played English billiards on a snooker table?
I have not. I have played snooker. When I was young, I played snooker. But I have not played. And in fact, Bean was here in Georgia, and she was teaching us
Taiwanese.
Taiwanese 9 ball.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Taiwanese billiards. It's the one with the 11 ball, the 1 ball, and you have to make 1, then 2, then all 3, right?
Yes. I was trying to follow along and watch her. She was showing Paul's song at my pool hall, and so she was showing him, and it was very interesting. I was like, wow, look at that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
and
that at the tournaments, all the pros, when they're having some downtime, they use that game to relax. It's a really, really good game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. But I love 14-1, so I love straight pool. I learned very early on over this last year and a half that I'm a precision player. you know? And so I know that the games that I like and the games that I'm strongest at are precision. So I
What's
realize
your high
that's the kind of
run?
player.
What's your high run
48,
at? Wow,
48.
that's pretty strong. That's more than 3 racks. That's on the fourth rack, right? I've
Yep.
not done. I've not done. I haven't started my fourth rack yet. I'm still,
I
but I
tell you
never
what
play
though,
it. You know.
when I missed ball 49 and it was the 9 in the side, I will never forget that. I was so mad at myself. I will remember exactly what that ball is. It was in the side, and I can't believe I jawed it. I was so mad. I was like, oh, come on. It's
As some,
hard when you hit that many balls.
yeah, I mean, imagine this when Jason Shaw was doing his 714 run. Imagine getting to 247
Oh,
and 280 and then breaking down. Did you
right.
see the state of his hands and his feet after he finished that? It was just
Oh,
craziness.
it's I so cannot wait till the day that I'm there. I would cannot wait for the day that I'm there. I'm going to work hard at it, and I would love to have that kind of a run. I mean, right now I'd love I just to be able to consistently hit 48. I would love. That's
Well,
our goal, right? Our goal is to just try to be consistent.
if you can get a good average at any of the games, you know. So look, if I come to your pool room, right, I'm there at your pool room in Georgia. I say, right, come on in, Katherine, la 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 la, the Huntress. I want to be the hunted, right? So what are we playing? What's the race? What's the break? Where are we breaking from? What's on the spot? Tell me.
We're playing 10 ball
Whoa, woman after my own
race,
heart. Go on then.
race to 8,
Race to
straight up
eight.
race to 8,
Okay.
straight
Okay.
up race to 8
Straight up race to 8 and alternate
on a triple
break,
shim table.
winner breaks.
Yes, winner breaks
You see,
on a triple shim.
see, we're never gonna. How triple shim?
At a 4-inch pocket. Come on.
Oh, 4 inch. That's all right. That's standard now, isn't it?
It is. It actually is
It
standard.
is becoming standard, right? And I
It's
think
becoming standard.
rightly so as well. I think gone are the days of the big 5 inch pocket, which you can hit halfway down the rail and it still goes in. I think that's why a lot of people didn't take the sport too seriously for a long while. And, you always hear people saying, oh, what, that game on those buckets? Nah, it's not worth it. So I think let's talk about the way pool's going now, right? So Matchroom have introduced the grey cloth, the purple 5, the break box, which I do agree with. Actually, I agree with the break box. I think it's changed it. It's made every rack different, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
kind of one of those things that made the sport so interesting. Same as snooker, you never get 2 racks or frames the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about where pool is right now and where it's heading. I mean, it's kind of like that at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my views. I'm sure you've got your views. What's your views on what's going on between the warring factions, shall we call them, at the
The
moment?
war in factions. That's a good way to put it. That's some creative linguistics right there. That's good, Mark. That's some creative linguistics. It's like not really in the hot zone, but kind of in the hot zone.
I'm
That's
just
pretty
I'm,
good.
I'm just grabbing my. You can't really see it with this green screen. My Nescafe Gold iced coffee. It's I think it's the latte one. It's really
Well,
nice.
that's because it is like 11 o'clock in the morning there.
It's a dollar. It's a dollar.
It's a dollar.
And
Uh,
listen, I've just had a thought. If this interview continues another, what's the time now? I haven't got my phone here. What's the time? It's 11 o'clock, right?
10:50. Yeah.
So we've got an hour to go. I don't think you're going to get to hear me sing happy birthday to you, but with a name like that, I'm quite happy about that, to be honest.
Well,
Right.
You can get me on one of your pool music podcasts. Then you can sing happy birthday to me later on.
Yeah,
That's
that'd be good actually. I'd love to hear your taste in music, and that we'll save that. Are you a person? Before we get onto the pool war at the moment, are you a person that wears earbuds or not? Oh, I've
yes.
just turned it down somehow, and I don't know how I did it.
You
Oh,
accidentally touched. Oh, I could see you. You're accidentally touching the little sensors.
oh, where are? Oh,
Yes.
there they are. But what I want it to go up. It's gone down. I want it to go up again. Oh, that'll do on my 94. That's fine. Okay. So, are you a person that wears these earpods when
Um,
you're playing?
Not always. So, because there's a lot of events that in the WPBA events we can't wear them. So you do try to train yourself. I find though when I practice in the pool hall because it is very noisy in there, and I being my pool hall and with me, everybody in my pool hall, the regulars know over the last year and a half I've been training every day. And so I went 523 days before I missed a day. And
What?
yep. So so they know I am in there working my butt off. So it got to the point where, of course, every person wanted to tell me how to play pool in the beginning. We went through that phase where everybody wanted to give me their advice.
Everyone's a
Uh,
coach. Everyone's a coach.
Yep, everyone's a coach. It didn't matter that I already had, somebody I was working with. It didn't matter, you know. Uh, but it was everybody wanted to be my coach, and I had to learn the humility part of accepting my personal humility into learning that, you listen to everyone. You have to listen to everyone because there are certain things that you may not there's things that you may already know. So you just take that and you go, okay, I know that, but they're reiterating it. It's good
A
because
reminder. Yeah.
what they see in your game is different than what you think you see. And I learned that very early on by recording myself. So, and by sending my recordings to my trainer, I learned that very, very early on was you need to literally let somebody tear your game apart. They need to literally tear it to if you truly want to be great, you have to let somebody tear it apart. You will never be great unless you do that. And you have to accept the humility part of it to understand that right, you got to take in everything everybody says. You listen, and be respectful. And you really got to set the precedence of what kind of player do you want to be, and you need to know what kind of player you want to be. That was the very first question that when I started training full time, my trainer is CJ Wiley.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, I
Cool.
love
What a cool
CJ.
dude.
We have an amazing relationship where we don't have to talk for a long time. And he'll come and he's been doing a lot in North Carolina lately. So he's been close, and he comes in and he loves Georgia. He loves hiking in Georgia. Yeah, obviously very athletic. With Asian backgrounds, he knows I've been a Buddhist my whole life. So I'm
Ah,
very
okay.
spiritual. So very much so into that. And he practices Tai Chi and I do yoga and stuff. So uh he really helped me to understand the importance of getting healthy as well. So when I started on my weight loss journey, it was about getting healthy. And I realized by watching all the great players, right, they're not doing the bad things and like getting themselves more healthy. You're really seeing them become athletes. So it's very impressive.
Let me ask you something, and I know it's a little bit of a taboo subject sometimes with some people, but you have brought it up, so I will mention it again. And something that I've been getting lots of feedback on my journey that I'm on now, my fitness journey, and how, you know, what's the word? How stimulating, not stimulating, but how it's having a really positive effect on other people, and it
Yes.
makes them want to do something. And
Hmm.
me going through it myself, it's lovely to hear that, and now it's given me more. Inspiring is the word I was looking for. It's great to inspire people in a good way. And I often get asked, "How did you do it though? How do you start?" And I say to them, "Just start. Just
Hmm.
take the first step, get in the swimming pool, do one length if you can, do half a length, and then do 2 the next day and try 3 the next day, or do,
Yep.
you know, just see, do what you
You
can.
start with
Just
something
do
that you love
something.
doing. Right. Like
Yeah.
if you love outdoors, take walks.
So what's
If you
your
love being,
advice
yeah.
on what was your inspiration? You know, what would you say to people? Because the amount of weight loss that you've done is just admirable. That is huge. I mean, pardon the pun, but you know that
Yeah,
is a
right. It
no,
is. I
that
lost a whole nother person.
it's a
I
huge
literally
weight
lost a
loss.
whole
It's
nother.
like, yeah, exactly. Like you've gone,
Mm-hmm.
right? There was 2 of you, now there's only 1. So
Mm-hmm.
what what was the final straw that made you say, right, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to eat rubbish anymore. I'm going to really. How did you actually start?
I know the
What was your
exact
regime?
moment. Yep, I
Tell
know
us.
the exact moment that it happened. And that was uh I lost a tournament and I was super mad at myself and I decided to drown myself in 12 Del Tacos.
Wow.
I was so upset that I had a horrible relationship with food, just a horrible relationship with it, right? And even as a pool player, you're eating a lot of bar food, you're eating a lot of, there isn't always a lot of really good choices of what you can get when you're playing. And let's face it, you're eating every maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So I realized that moment when I had a horrible relationship with food, and so that was one of the things I needed to change. Was that moment I was so sick after I did that to myself that I'm like, if I truly want to be a great player, then that's got to stop. Like if you can go to practice 7 days a week and not miss a practice, and you work your job during the day, and I practice from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. So and then I go home, I go to sleep, get up, I work a little bit, and then I do it all over again, right? And I thought, if I can do that, there's no reason why I can't start making better choices.
So yeah, very well done. So what is a typical day for you? Tell us, you know, I'm talking about food wise and exercise. How did you lose 89 pounds? I mean, that's
I went
huge.
to
How did you do it?
I went to a lot more cleaner eating, and cleaner eating of more going back to eating when I wanted to snack, I snack on sugar snap peas, celery, and I don't cheat myself. Like I'll still have ranch. It's because really, if you even do a small amount of ranch, it's not a lot of calories. I wasn't even watching the calories. I was just making better choices of what I was eating. And then all of a sudden it became really easy because I started naturally feeling better. And so by naturally feeling better, I think it's kind of a snowball effect. It makes it a lot easier to make even better choices. Is because you see, you really got to take it to where you see, give yourself some credit for even the small amount. So it's like, when I first started really changing from eating chips, fries, all kinds of other crazy bad stuff, and started eating celery, sugar snappies, salad, making some better choices of eating a little bit healthier, and eating smaller portions. That for me did it. Eating, forcing myself. And it's really rough in the beginning.
Six tacos instead of 12.
Now it is only one taco, mind you. And I'm good because I have a love-hate relationship with tacos.
You know, when we just had a quick break, when we went to the commercials and that, I had a phone call from a local delivery company, right? Like like Amazon or something like that. The local Amazon. I just want to get a parcel that I just received because it's right along what lines we're talking about. Just give me 1 second,
Yep,
very quickly.
no problem.
Just sing your favourite song while I'm gone. Hold on.
Oh no.
Now I'm back. So, a couple of weeks ago, this parcel here, I know it doesn't work very well because I've got this green screen. I don't know how I'll put it in front of my face. That right? Looks like a
Oh yeah, you
pizza.
still can't see.
It looks like a pizza, right? But it's not a pizza. It might have been two weeks ago. But now, and I've bought this, it's weighing scales, right? You can't see it. It doesn't matter. It's a set of weighing scales which connect to an app that I've got, and also a smartwatch which will be here sometime today. And I've really thrown, as I said before, I'm an addictive person. If I'm into something, I'm into it totally, right? There's no half measures with me. So I've got my scales, I've got my smartwatch, and I've also I've got some weights here, but I've just ordered some of them resistance straps as well, you know? So I'm really going for it, right? So the reason I'm telling you that is what kind of exercise do you do? So you mentioned hiking. Do you do anything else?
So I actually do, I have a little work. I have not actually been to the gym this whole time. I do after every practice, what I have found was by stretching after, when you do a long session of practicing, and when I started keeping track of actually how many steps I take during practice from 10 to 3, and it's close to 15,000 steps.
What?
Yep. Because when I do a minimum of 20, I try to do a minimum of 10 racks. Uh 10 racks, a minimum of 10. And it's 10, 15 ball racks. I have this rotation as I'm working on many different things with it. So it's covering many aspects of my game and my weaknesses. So of making me stronger and understanding the table and the mechanics of it, and how to work the table the right way. So I use that training drill, and it's great because that 150 ball, that's a lot of steps. It actually, through that night, I'll do it over and over. I've now increased it to a minimum of 20 racks a night. So to where it's amazing. It's a lot of steps. So
You
then when I
can't.
started eating better and lesser calories, lesser bad things, then the weight even more started coming off because I was burning it naturally and not even realizing I was doing it because I was doing the other thing that I love, which is pool. And it just worked for me. It just worked. It was crazy. It just works. And there's no rhyme or reason. Now, don't get me wrong. I eat donuts. I love donuts.
Ah, donuts. Gives a whole new meaning to the phrase giving somebody weight on the pool table, doesn't it?
Right. That
So
is so true.
hang on a minute. I've got to ask right now. Honestly, walking around a pool table can help you to lose 89 pounds.
Absolutely. Think about how many steps that is. So how many calories are you burning? And when you get your smartwatch, turn on your steps, right? So, and that's what I have mine. So I have it on there so it keeps track of all my steps, and everything. And it was unbelievable. I really didn't believe it until I started to realize when it told me one day that I had burned like 780 calories. And I went, what? I was like, how? I was like, how did I do that? I was like, and then I realized because I was playing so long, and I gotten into this grudge match with my little arch nemesis. I have an arch nemesis.
Who's
My
that? Who's
goal
that?
is to beat him. His name is Wes White.
Okay, good
So
surname.
he's got a 700 Fargo. So he's my sparring partner. And so my whole goal is we have this great challenge, and that is as soon as I hit his Fargo and I'm 1 point over his Fargo for 30 days, I get to blast him on Facebook and
What's
tell him
your
how great
Fargo?
I am.
What's your Fargo?
Oh, it's very low. I'm still in preliminary. It's a 369.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
low. It's low. It's I don't I know by looking at, because the only here in Georgia, it's a league state. It's an APA state. So we
Yeah.
don't have a lot of Fargo rated. So I did not have an established Fargo. So all my Fargo play is WPBA events.
Let's talk about WPBA and your goal for that. I see Wei Chi Chen has just gone to #1 in the women's
Yeah,
rankings, which is, I mean, I've spent a lot of time with Wei Wei. She was in Manila with Kelly when I was there. Super girl, so much talent, and she
amazing.
really does work so hard at her game. She's kind of like the Shane Van Boning of the women's game. You know, she's always at the table practicing. She's invariably the first there. Really does
Hmm.
practice hard, and that's another thing. She's just gone #1 today after the Iron City Billiards tournament, which
Hmm.
Alison Fisher won, that we talked about. Um, what's your aspirations as far as the pro circuit's concerned? What's the goal there?
So my goal, when I started in 2022, Sledgehammer was my first event at Janet Atwell's place, Borderline Billiards. That was my first pro event with Sledgehammer in 2022.
Love you,
Um,
Janet. She's great.
she's amazing.
What a
She is
great lady.
just
Oh,
there are so many of them as I have gotten to know them over this last, year and a half, uh, that are they're just they're amazing. Uh it makes you want to strive. If you truly want to be a great player, then you want to be in their company. You want to learn as much as you can from them. Because what their knowledge of what they have and what they know is, and what they've been able to do, it to me it's a huge inspiration. Janet, Kelly, Wei, Brittany Bryant, uh, I've gotten to know Brittany Bryant a little bit, and I love it. I mean, it's just they've really taught me to keep me humble, to understand that you really got to work hard and you got to be patient. It takes time. It takes time to get consistency. It
yeah.
really does, you know. So that's what I love about them. And so my goal is, I started 2022 and I ended 2022 season at 184. In the three events I played in 2023, which was all the Iron City events, I played in all three, and I managed to end the 2023 season at 134. So I moved up
Wow.
over 50 spots, even with that low of uh because I did well, even though I didn't have a lot of wins. I got really close. I got double hill close. So when you're playing up against a 670 Fargo or a 720 or a 730 or a 740, and you get double hill, you're you're up there with them. You're competing, you're staying with them instead of just being annihilated, you know.
Who did you who did you who did you play along the way? Is there any match that sticks in your mind where you come really close with, and you thought, yeah,
Oh,
this has given me some real, you know.
I will tell you, yes. So I have a thing about the juniors. I have the luck about the juniors. I always usually on the second round, I usually get the 9 a.m. slot. I complain to Dean all the time. I'm like, 9 a.m. really? I'm like, which junior did I get this time? Last time it was Noel Tate. Double hill with
Oh,
Noel Tate. It
you
lost.
know, she was at Austria at the Worlds when I was there recently. What a great talent, and what a great
Oh,
family. I mean, beautiful family. The father was there as well, the giant of a
mm-hmm.
man. Joey's dad, of course. I can't remember his name. Sorry about that, Mr. Tate. I think there's
There's a
12.
lot of Tate.
There's 11. There's 11 of them, isn't there? I think.
There's a lot of Tate.
I
There's
told
a
him he
lot
needs
of
to
them,
get. He should have had a TV or got a hobby.
right?
But yeah,
But
no,
it's
Noel, Bethany,
I draw the
Joey.
juniors. Yep, I
Yeah,
draw
me too.
Haley Marion. I drew Warrior Princess, and she's the one who knocked me out in at Sledgehammer. I drew that junior first. I've drawn Kennedy, Noel,
Kennedy Mayman, yeah, another good player.
Kinsley. Yep. I have not played Savannah yet, or Sophia.
Yeah, that
I drew Casey Court, Skylar Hess. Yeah,
they seem
I
to
just
be.
love getting beat up by the juniors. So I
Yeah,
told Dean, I said, really?
oh
He
yeah,
goes, one
Dean
of these.
Rosalie, yeah.
Yeah. And he
Hi,
says, Kathy, he
Dean.
goes, one of these days you're gonna get them. And I'm like, that 9 a.m. slot. Don't you know I'm old?
Yeah, it's easy for the kids to get. They've been up 4 hours playing PlayStation or whatever it is they play.
I will give it to Noel though, and Sophia. It was great at the last Iron City event when Noel knocked me out. I was like, oh, Nether Junior got me. And they went to what's the ice cream place? Cold Stone, but they went and got ice cream cookies. So they got out of Michael Cantonese's truck
I hope
and
you didn't
and
have one.
oh, I got one. Yeah. Sophia comes over and she goes, Miss Kathy, would you? And I go, you're so nice. Thank you. And she goes, you
Oh.
can drown the loss in the cookie. And I was like, thank you. I said, I
Do
still
you
want to
know
beat you both.
they are really sweet, aren't they? All those
Oh, they
girls that are on
are.
the
They
centre line,
are.
but they're monsters as well.
Oh,
They'll
yes.
have their shirt off your back. Don't worry about that.
And that just goes to show you at that age, the structure that they have to play as hard as they are and to put in all they're doing with school and everything else and maintaining those grades and all the other things that a teenager normally goes through, because we've been through that, you know, uh, they they truly are sports athletes. They are true athletes in every way of it. And they're learning through great role models how to have amazing humility. And that's what I appreciate in them.
It's interesting that you talk about your favourite players and the juniors and all that, and about the game itself. You called it a sport, which reminded me of a few little questions that I like to. I normally do this in the commentary booth. Actually, we should do a match in the commentary booth together sometime. That would be fun. Come and do a match with me if we're at the same place. Are you going to Vegas or not?
Hopefully.
Okay, maybe we'll get to do a game together there or something. But I normally ask these, it's like a 30-second shot clock of questions, and they're one word answers.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to run through those very, very quickly with you. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. How much of our sport is in the head?
100%.
Is pool a sport or is it just a game?
It's a sport.
Of course it is. Triangle, rack, or template?
Template.
9 ball or 10 ball?
10 ball.
Best ever American? Earl, SVB, or maybe you've got one of your own?
Well, technically, he's now an American. No offense to Shane, because he's my North Dakota boy, and I'm from Minnesota, and he's probably gonna not like this. But Fedor,
Oh, you're already calling him American.
I
Okay.
mean, you.
Well, I'll tell you what, that could be the same answer for my next question. Who is the best at jumping in the world?
Ooh,
Come on, there's only one. Come on.
I mean,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Catherine. Happy birthday to
I
you.
mean,
Come on, go on. Who
I
do you think?
personally, I personally think probably one of the best. I mean, I think there's multiple great jumpers. I mean, I don't know that I can pick one to be honest.
You've got to.
I've seen some amazing ones. I've seen Alex Pegwan do with amazing jumps. I've seen, you know,
Okay. Best kicker.
Tony Johan.
Wow. Okay. Nicest player regarding their attitude when they're at the table and overall demeanour, in general.
Kelly Fisher.
Good choice. My best friend. What two players do you most like to see playing against each other?
I would love to see Gene Belucas and Kelly Fisher play.
I wonder, did they ever play? I'm sure they must have done, or were they different eras
I don't
completely?
know. I don't know if they have.
Well, I'm actually interviewing Kelly one day this week. She's just left the Iron City and she's on her way to China, and I'm going to be interviewing her, which is a much better timeline for me than the one we got at the moment. Well, but this is fine by me though, because you're a night owl and I'm an early bird, so it's
Yep.
perfect. 12-hour difference. What's your favourite cue? What cue do you play with?
I play with McDermott. So my playing cue is a McDermott. And then my break stick is a Jacoby Thumper Purple Heart.
Wow, thumper.
One of the old ones.
What's your favourite tip and your favourite chalk?
So my favorite chalk is white town. So I use white town. Uh, and then my favorite tip is yep. Hopefully, if Teom is what I'd love to be a Teom sponsored player. Right now, my Teom was sponsored through John Moody in Maryland.
Well, I know a guy that is one of
Oh,
the
do you?
owners, and he's actually here in Thailand right now. So if you send
Tell
me
him
if you send me your
white Teom, man, I
details,
love it.
I'll get him to
I
send.
sell a lot of it actually. Believe it or not, in my little local pool, Terry doesn't even stock it because they don't buy it from him. They buy it from me to help support me. So I actually do a nice little run with I use John Moody out of Maryland. So John Moody Jr. So
Okay,
and I love it. We have a great relationship. And so but yes, I Tam that's so I actually use a navigator, a custom tip,
okay,
uh
and
which is which is so it's actually a navigator with a Kamui clear base on top. So I have a Kamui clear base and a navigator super soft.
wow, you want the best of everything, you do, don't you? And rightly
Yeah.
so. Listen, and we're running out of time. Just one last thing I'd love to ask you. If you could give one tip to players growing up now, what would it be? You've got a minute.
Humbleness.
Wow,
Stay humble and stay hungry.
very good. Katherine, if you'd just like to mention your sponsors once again and your amazing website very, very quickly, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Go on.
Thank you. Native Billiards Foundation. My sponsors are Dunsky Dungeon, Tam, uh, John Moody, Altaville.
Oh,
I
Outsville.
love the
Chris
template. Yep,
Renfro. I love the Accurac.
I love
Great.
it. I love it. My favorite. Yep, I absolutely love Altaville. And then Q's, of course, and I have Fat Lady Baker in Roswell, Georgia. She is our little local.
That's not good for the diet. Fat Lady Baker. Listen, Katherine, we've got to go. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.
Good luck with everything. Say bye-bye and happy birthday.
Bye. Thank you.